Hello, we're back on the Money and Fariha show. We're having a riveting conversation with our guest of the day, Zakra Sharoz Jafardala, and she has been sharing with us about her journey going from low self-esteem to the empowered lady that she is today. Actually, a woman of wonder, a wow lady.
Yes. Superwoman, shall we call her?
Yes, our personal hero.
She's a personal hero.
So you had stated during our break that there were 12 key points that you expanded upon in your speech. So we'd love to hear about them.
Well, it was a wonderful moment because the education minister was in the audience, Mitzi Hunter, and I was so happy to be able to tell my story because this article was given to all the ladies in the audience. There were about 300 people there, and it was a very nice, fancy event. And alhamdulillah, you know, a woman-powered event. It was ladies only, and there were female MPPs there. And, you know, it was a time for us to realize that we're all women of wonder. And that's, you know, what my message was when I went up there, and I told everyone to hold hands and look at each other and tell each other, you are a woman of wonder.
Let's do that right now.
Yes.
We are women of wonder.
Of wonder.
Every
Yes,
woman
and,
in her
you know,
own
all of you
right,
out there.
And I talked about how, you know, it's us women who can empower each other. If we're going to be busy competing or pulling each other down, criticizing and judging, then we're holding everybody back. And united we stand. So let's, you know, help each other. And
let's hope we all make it.
Oh, inshallah, I think we're pretty much there. In fact, and we thank the men in our lives and in our communities as well, who have been traditionally the gatekeepers, but they are the ones who are empowering us and saying, yes, it's about time. So we're all in this together. It's not a competition even with the men and women.
And I'm really glad that you mentioned that, because at one point it was thought of, you know, the women behind the men, and now it's the men behind the women.
It's a reversing role.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's a good thing, you know. There's nothing bad about saying, you are part of my success. Because they used to say, behind every great man is a great woman.
Exactly.
And behind every great woman is a great man. When I got this award in Ahl Bayt TV, I talked about my husband being the one who, you know, I talked about my father giving me that education and that voice. And then my husband being the one who allowed me to use that voice in my second stage of life. And that, you know, when I'm out there traveling and speaking, he's the one taking care of the children and cooking and cleaning while I'm gone. And he's been doing that for a number of years, and I'm very blessed to have him. And as a matter of fact, I texted him today saying, you know, thank you for being such a strong pillar of strength in my life. Sometimes you got to say that just so that he can continue to do so. You got to motivate them, right?
Keep the self-esteem high, right?
Being grateful,
feed that ego.
being grateful.
Don't
even
we
Allah
all need that validation from time to time,
true.
and there's nothing wrong with
and
that.
even
you know,
Allah
you just
subhanahu wa ta'ala talks
absolutely-
about being thankful to Him. And he says,
Absolutely.
swiftly
Why
do we reward the thankful ones.
Yes.
When you are thankful, Allah feels like giving you more, and human beings are like
We're
that
just
too.
human beings.
So yeah, I mean, there's so many points that I had to share, and there's so much wisdom when you have come, when you've had a near-death experience. How much do you tell people about, hey, don't do this next time, and I learned one thing, and you know, your life flashes in front of you, and you realize this. You know, there's so much stuff you can tell somebody when you've gone through a difficult phase.
Your priorities really get put in place.
Right.
Yeah.
So I just, at the top of my head, made these 12. So I began with the number one thing being woman is power. And I realized that when I was only 12, but when I was suffering, the person who brought me out was my mother. And I spoke about my mother, and my mother was crying in the audience. And I said, you know, whatever I am is because of my mom, because she always told me I was beautiful, and she's never ever, you know, ever been critical and judging in such a way that my self-esteem, which the world's already telling you you're nothing.
Yeah.
If your mother does that too, then where do you go? And a woman understands a woman's pain. So a woman is power, and as I told everybody, you know, let's all be together and be united in this and help each other. And the number two thing was that don't let the beast swallow you. And I learned that, you know, the racism thing was a big beast, and you know, it was telling me I'm not good enough, and scaring me, intimidating me, making me hate myself. I remember not looking in the mirror for a few years. I just didn't want to see how ugly I was. And then came a point in my life where I had to force myself to look at myself and say, this is what God gave me, and this is what I'm going to make the best of. You and I were in this together, and we better like each other, right? So I learned to like myself, but in that I learned how to like God. So I realized that there was this beast. It was telling me all these things. If I let it eat me, I will start to look at myself like the way the beast looks at me. So don't let that beast swallow you. And another thing, number 3, was choose the message you want to hear. Surround yourself with people who validate you, who make you feel good. That's why I love being with you ladies, because I love the way your synergy. I love how there's no competition. I love the love that you give to your guests and to each other. That's why it's always wonderful. Yeah, so keep up the great work.
Thank you. And thank you for that acknowledgement.
Yeah, and it's true. Alhamdulillah. Choose the message you want to hear. There's billions of people on this earth, and you want to focus on that one person who tells you you're not good enough. Look at all the ones who say, exactly, I love you and you're great and I want to be with you. And surround yourself with them, and they'll be your power. Number 4, choose to be happy. And there's
it is a choice.
It is a choice, yes. And it takes courage to have that choice, because sometimes it feels so good to cry and to wallow in grief and to
indulge in self-pity.
That's okay with that too, once in a while we need to get over that. Yeah.
Yes, you can choose to be sad and say, today I'm going to let myself, but that doesn't mean this is going to be forever. And it's a spiraling thing, so you got to be very careful. Number 5, don't hurt others the way they hurt you. And psychology tells us when people are cruel, it's because they've had a bad day.
Yes.
And don't we, take out, as we say in Urdu, Isa ka gussa musa pe, right? Yeah. You're mad at somebody and you're taking it out on someone else. And so understand where that person is coming from. Understand that something's happened in their life that they don't trust you, or they think negatively about Muslims or whatever. And with love, change that. With your actions, change that. The 6th Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam has said that bring people towards Islam, not with your words, but with your actions. So act in such a way. And if you're going to react negatively or say bad words back, you've only added to that person's pain and added to your own pain too, because they're going to hurt you harder, right?
So, well, as they say, hurt people, right?
Exactly.
And empowered people empower people.
And number 6, I said, realize that what you never thought possible in life can happen. Yes. And, I talked about how as a child I was a wimp. Physically as well, because emotionally when you're down you can't hold your shoulders up. I learned how to walk again. I learned how to
hold your posture.
I used to watch people who were very popular and look at how they were comfortable in their skin, and I learned how to walk like them and hold my head up. And I was always the last person in gym, when we were on these endurance runs or anything. I would be like 15 minutes later, because nobody cares about me anyway. Nobody wants me. Nobody will wonder where I have been, and I'll just drag my feet. So last year I just did a marathon and I ran 5 kilometers in 45 minutes.
Congratulations!
And, there were so many. Thank you. And there were so many people behind me. Right? There were like hundreds of people that I left in my dust, and I made it to the front. And this year, alhamdulillah, I'm doing that again, but I'm also doing a 10K, a 10 kilometer. And I said, it's not about how fast I do it. I want to go further.
Yes.
So that's and inshallah, future I want to do 15K or whatever, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me that strength. So I said what you never thought possible can happen. And I had a PowerPoint, so I was showing that here's a picture of a child who's all alone and shunned and hated, and then there was a picture of me speaking in Sweden when I had an audience of 10,000.
And the contrast.
Yes, and I said, so this can happen, and it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody. You have to just believe, and you have to, take that step. So number 7, I talked about the strength being within. No one's going to make you feel that you can do something. I mean, it helps, but you have to find that strength within, right? And then I put a big but there, the caveat being that the strength is within, but it comes from God. Yes. And when you find God and you make Him the source of strength, Him being awwalul awwalin and akhirul akhirin, He is everlasting. Yeah. His strength doesn't end. So therefore, why not access that strength? Which, if you put it in a human being's hand to bring you up, when they stop giving you strength, you're broken, right? So I mean, I found my mother's lap that gave me strength, but mothers are not forever. And may Allah give them a long life. Yes. But Allah is forever. So find that musalla, your prayer mat, and find strength there. It's not your mother's lap, but it can be more than that, because Allah is 72 times more than a mother.
More loving, yes.
Right? And quickly, because I know that we are running out of time. Number 8, no one can defeat you if God is with you. And Allah Himself says that in the Holy Quran, that if we are with you, if Allah assists you, then no one can defeat you. And if Allah is not with you, then no one can save you. Beautiful. And on Allah do the believers rely. So rely on Him, trust Him, and fall back in His hands, and He'll never let you fall. And number 9, you're never alone when Allah is near. And then the patience that I got and the strength I got was from him, making me feel like it's going to be okay. Number 10, trust that you're in good hands. Allah has a plan, and He puts you through these things so you can come out better. And number 11, good things come to those who are patient. Sabr is everything. And number 12, number 12 was every woman is a woman of wonder. All these roles that we do, everything that we do, all the ways that we make the world a better place, we make people smile. When a woman is at home, the home becomes a home, right? The house becomes a home. You know, she brings warmth into a home, and that's why a lot of men don't want to come home when their wives are not home. Because I know my husband was texting me saying, when are you going to be home? When should you? Because he was timing it so that he could, and I was like, you know, oh, you're going to wait for me to serve you dinner. That's what it is, right? But it was, no, I realized that it's because there's warmth when you come home to a loving woman, right?
Very much so.
Yes, so may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us that power to be a woman of wonder. All of us are, but let's find that strength within and that beauty and the positivity within, so that we can make the world a wonderful place.
Let's all rise to the occasion of being women of wonder.
Wow, beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you so much.
I feel so empowered right now.
Right now.
So we have to, exactly, right
let's
now.
keep
as usual,
moving
let's
it forward.
Yeah, absolutely, let's keep it going.
And we will keep it moving forward for the next segment. Right now we are due for a break. And I did mention puppets. So rest assured we will be bringing them out. And enjoy your break, and we'll be back with you shortly.